Hey guys, Ian here, Fantastic Dimensions. Welcome to another GM Insights video. This is going to be a little bit different because I actually have a kind of a player insight as well, but they're all working to kind of the same point, I suppose. I just had a really great weekend of gaming. I hope you guys got some good games in too over the weekend. It started on Friday night for me. I played in Lloyd Collins, also known as Jarl DM's Viking campaign, The Horns of Keranos. I keep saying I apologize for that. It's just a natural habit. I don't know why I do that. It's really annoying. I'll try to stop. So, The Horns of Keranos was a lot of good fun. We were missing one player, unfortunately. Ryan couldn't make it. He had to go to an art gallery or something. But nonetheless, the other three players and myself, we had a really good game. It was very different from what I would expect in a Viking game. You know, you kind of think of Vikings, you think of, you know, raids and giants and you know, all of this kind of, I don't know, I would assume kind of a really gritty, really violent game anyway. But instead, what Lloyd did with this session is it wasn't a very combat-heavy session. There was a brief combat, but he decided to put us in a hold, as it were, and investigate and punish the murder of the son of the master of this whole thing. I can't remember the exact title. The Huskarl, that's what it was. The Huskarl's son had been killed, his eldest son, and we had to try to figure out who was responsible and ensure that punishment was carried out for the crime. So, as Andrew commented on the actual video on YouTube, it was kind of like a CSI episode. So, very different from what I was expecting, but it was really good fun. We got a lot of really good role play in. We enjoyed the scenario, and in the end, we uncovered the culprit. You know, and everybody kind of got to do some really cool character stuff, and yeah, we made some new allies along the way, and probably a whole lot of new enemies too. But that's beside the point. So it wasn't what I was expecting, and that's what I want to call this GM Insights video. Expect the unexpected, prepare for the unexpected. Now, you can't literally prepare for the unexpected, but you just have to be ready in a game, even as a player, obviously, for things to be different than what you may have thought they would be going into it. The Saturday night game that I ran was the Defiance Chronicles. It was our 11th episode, and the crew of the Defiance had arrived in this spaceport, this space station, sorry, it's basically a station that revolves around this dead moon, and it's a bit of a pirates kind of station, very much, I kind of modeled it after Tortuga from like the Pirates of the Caribbean films, or Omega from the Mass Effect films. It's in very much a lawless section of space, which I call wild space in my campaign. And all kinds of different aliens and different races about. They saw all kinds of advanced technology that they hadn't seen in their own quadrant of space, because the way I'm playing this current scenario is that, you know, they're in this strange quadrant of space. It's very foreign to them, and they are, you know, they're very much the exotic aliens here, because there are no other elves and humans and half-elves and gnomes and such about. But while they were meant anyway initially to be going to meet the master of the station and learn some things about the station and about their current situation, etc. And just as they're getting off the ship, some of the characters, because I had the group kind of split up into a few different groups, but I think it was 4 of them anyway that were coming off the ship that were supposed to be going to this club to meet with the master of the station. And I was just throwing out examples of things that they saw on the docks, just to kind of give some flavor and some, you know, some mood and environment to the scene. And I made mention that there was a Minotaur pirate ship that had also arrived around the same time as them, and the Minotaur captain was speaking to the dockmaster shortly after the dockmaster had left them to their business. Just a little backdrop, you know, just to show, okay, yeah, there are Minotaurs here as well. So one of the characters, Hakon Ninefingers, is played by Lloyd, who was in all of my games this weekend, actually, now that I think about it. He took interest in this Minotaur pirate captain and decided to approach him and start trying to talk to him. Introduce himself, I suppose. Of course, he doesn't speak any common languages that are in this quadrant of space, so the Minotaur had no idea what he was talking. Hakon, being kind of a big, burly, intimidating-looking sort, kind of, I in my head said, okay, he'd put off a little bit of a threatening air, even if he wasn't intending to. So the Minotaur took this as an aggression and headbutts him in the face, and a fight breaks out. So they have a brief fight before eventually, as they're fighting, the gnome runs over and casts comprehend languages on one of them, and then casts it on the other, so they eventually be able to understand each other. And then they just kind of laugh it off and stop fighting and realize, oh well, you know, Hakon's like, oh, I was just coming up to say hi and introduce myself, and the Minotaur's like, oh well, very sorry about that. I thought you were trying to, you know, start a fight, or you thought maybe you were challenging me. So they end up laughing it off and talking and becoming fast friends. And what was, you know, I was expecting a diplomatic kind of encounter, if you want to call it that, with the master of the space station, turns into Hakon and friends going to the local Minotaur bar and spending the evening, well, spending a good portion of the evening drinking with these Minotaur pirates and stuff in the bar. So again, that was another thing which I did not expect. Just a character that I put in the background just for a bit of visual to say, yeah, there's this big Minotaur pirate captain talking to the dockmaster down the way. The party decided, one of the party members anyway decided, oh well, let's go talk to them and introduce ourselves, and it took the scenario, took the session in a direction which I didn't expect. So again, that's the title of this video, Expect the Unexpected. Now, what I had to do is I had to pull up a name generator real quick on my tablet and come up with a name for this Minotaur pirate, because of course, you know, they wanted to get to know each other, and I didn't have a name prepared for everything. But it doesn't really take too much effort to just get a few little details down and just I developed the character through roleplay, and I think it went really well. He was a really cool character, actually. Jundak is his name, and now he's going to become an NPC in the game. That he's become an ally of the crew and a friend of Hakon specifically, but you know, he may come up again in future. They even have an opportunity to possibly work together in the not too distant future, because Jundak has invited them to join his crew on their pirate raids. So we don't know, we'll see what happens in future sessions. And then last night, Sunday night, I ran my first ever Lamentations of the Flame Princess scenario. It was the first session in what I hope to be a bit of a campaign or series. Had 4 really good players. Again, Lloyd was in there. I had Andrew Knapp, who's SR2 Joker here on YouTube. I have a guy, Anthony Fournier, who I've seen around the different you know, Facebook and Google Plus communities, but I'd never gotten a chance to game with before yesterday. And Chepe Le Pepe, who you may know from the Channel Fawn Tribe. So I had really good, strong role players. They had really cool, unique characters. And I was just running this kind of starter scenario. They call it a tutorial, I think, in the Lamentations referee book, the free one from the Grindhouse edition that's been made available while we wait for the new referee book to come out for the latest edition. But so I ran that scenario for them, and the scenario, as any pre-written scenario, has various things laid out. Okay, if they do this, this could happen. If they do this, this could happen. It is set up, and they explain in the tutorial that you have to be prepared for things to go in ways you don't expect. Expect the unexpected. But it basically has a few different kind of possibilities laid out. Well, this group took it in a direction which was not foreseen at all in the module or in the referee book at all, and things went completely different than even what I kind of expected. I don't want to give away anything too much. I don't want to spoil the adventure itself, or if you want to watch it, you can check it out on my channel. I called it Lamentations of the Flame Princess 2's a Crowd. I just recorded it. We just did it last night, so it would be one of the most recent videos on my site if you're watching this as it's new. But yeah, all I will say is it was a lot bloodier, I guess. The death toll was staggering compared to what I had expected going into it. But yeah, it was brilliant. So when you're running a game, or even if you're playing a game, but especially if you're running a game, you've got to kind of prepare yourself for things to happen that you don't expect, and just be ready to riff off of cool things that your players do. Yeah, have little tools available, like name generators on the computer or on a tablet or whatever you might have, so that if you need to all of a sudden pop out a fast name for an NPC, you can find things like that very easily, actually, with a quick Google search. I typed up in Minotaur name generator, boom, I had, you know, straight away like 10 or 20 different names, and you can just keep it, you know, a button to keep popping and generating more. But things like that, it'll help you to, you know, to improvise and to go in directions that your characters may want to go that you weren't really prepared for. And that, especially in a campaign scenario, really adds to the game. It adds to the player's agency. It makes them feel, I think, like they're having an effect, that they're important. You know, it's not that the world revolves around them, but just that the world reacts to them and their actions. So, yeah, I highly recommend it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you are already a subscriber, I appreciate you taking the time to click the buttons to watch these videos. If you're not, then I hope you'll click the like and subscribe buttons down there and keep an eye on the channel. Thank you very much, everybody. Have great games, and I'll see you at the gaming table.